There is a pattern in how you choose the people you love, Capricorn. And you have seen it operating across your whole life, even if you have never named it precisely. You are drawn again and again to a particular kind of person, and that person is rarely the easy one. You meet someone steady, warm, available, genuinely good to you, and something in you stays quiet, unmoved, polite but uncharged. And then you meet someone who is difficult, distant, complicated, demanding, structurally hard to be with, and something in you comes alive. The difficult one pulls you, the easy one does not. You have watched yourself choose the harder path so many times that you have started to believe something is wrong with you, that you are drawn to pain, that you sabotage your own chance at the simple love that other people seem to find. Tonight I am going to show you that the pattern is not self-sabotage, and it is not a wound. It is architecture. And once you see the architecture, the pattern stops being a fate and becomes a choice. The popular explanation is self-sabotage. They say you do not believe you deserve good love, so you choose people who confirm your low self-worth. They say you are repeating a childhood wound, choosing partners who recreate the dynamic with a difficult parent. They say you are afraid of real intimacy, so you choose unavailable people to keep true closeness at a safe distance. Each of these explanations contains a fragment of truth, and each of them is incomplete, because each of them assumes the pattern is a malfunction, a glitch in your self-worth, a wound in your history, a fear in your attachment system. The truth is that the pattern is not a malfunction. It is the correct functioning of a system calibrated to do exactly what it is doing. To understand it, you have to understand what your system was calibrated to seek. You are Capricorn. You are ruled by Saturn. And Saturn, among everything else it governs, is the planet of training through difficulty. Saturn does not develop a person through ease. Saturn develops a person through resistance, through weight, through the encounter with what is hard. This is not cruelty on Saturn's part. It is the developmental logic of the structural planet. A structure becomes strong only by being loaded, and Saturn loads its natives so that they will grow load-bearing. Your entire system, including the part of you that selects partners, is calibrated to Saturn's developmental logic. And a system calibrated to grow through difficulty will, left to its automatic defaults, seek difficulty in the place where growth feels most important: in love. To see exactly how this calibration works, we have to go to the Hellenistic tradition, the layer of astrology that flourished 2,000 years ago and that had a technical precision modern popular astrology has largely lost. The Hellenistic astrologers worked with something they called lots, or sometimes the Greek term kleroi, which translates roughly as allotments or portions. A lot was a calculated point in the chart, derived from the positions of the planets, that marked where a particular theme was concentrated in a person's life. There were lots for many things: a lot of fortune, a lot of spirit, a lot of eros, a lot of necessity. And there was a lot associated with Saturn, sometimes called the lot of nemesis, which marked the place in the chart where a person encounters the structural difficulties Saturn assigns, the weights, the limitations, the trainings through resistance that develop the soul. Here is the part that matters for your pattern. The Hellenistic astrologers understood that a person's attention is drawn, almost magnetically, toward the themes marked by the lots in their chart. Where Saturn's lot falls, a person feels a structural pull, not toward pleasure, but toward the developmental encounter. For a Saturn-ruled person whose entire chart is organized around Saturn, this pull toward the Saturnian developmental encounter is unusually strong. You do not feel the pull as pain-seeking. You feel it as significance. The difficult person feels meaningful in a way the easy person does not, because the difficult person activates the developmental circuitry that your Saturn-calibrated system reads as where the real growth lives. This is the mechanism. When you meet the easy, warm, available person, your Saturn system registers low developmental load and reads the encounter as pleasant, but not significant. When you meet the difficult person, your Saturn system registers high developmental load and reads the encounter as meaningful, important, charged with the sense that this is where you are meant to do your work. The pull toward the wrong people is not your low self-worth. It is your Saturn calibration mistaking developmental difficulty for romantic significance. You have been choosing partners the way Saturn chooses trials, by their training load, and then wondering why love keeps being so much work. What I'm giving you here is the architecture of the attraction pattern, the Hellenistic lot mechanics by which a Saturn-calibrated body mistakes developmental difficulty for romantic significance and is pulled toward the partners who carry the heaviest training load. Knowing the pattern is awareness. Knowing the specific seasons of your life when the pull toward difficulty intensifies and the seasons when your system can actually register the significance of an easy, good love is power, because it lets you choose with knowledge rather than be chosen by the calibration. That timing is what I track on the Patreon. The foundation tier maps the weekly mechanics of the attraction pattern. The inner circle tier breaks it down by your decade, because the pull toward difficulty operates differently in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s. Now that you have the lot frame, you will see the same pattern operating beyond romance, because the calibration is structural, not love-specific. You will see it in the work you choose. Offered an easy role and a hard one, you reach for the hard one almost without deliberating, because the hard one feels significant and the easy one feels like coasting. Your career is full of difficulties you selected, not because you are a masochist, but because your Saturn system reads difficulty as where the meaning is. You will see it in the friendships you invest in most. The complicated friend, the one who is hard to reach, the one whose loyalty has to be earned and re-earned, often gets more of your attention than the simple, steady, easy friend who has been reliably present all along. The easy friendship does not activate the developmental circuitry, so it gets quietly underwatered. You will see it in the projects you take on, the causes you commit to, the problems you choose to solve. Always the structurally hard ones, always the ones that promise growth through resistance. You have built an entire life around the Saturn pull toward difficulty, and most of that life is good, except in love, where the pull toward difficulty selects partners who make connection a permanent training exercise rather than a place of rest. You will even see it in the smaller textures of your days. The book you choose to read is the demanding one, not the light one. The hobby you keep is the one that punishes you until you master it, not the one that simply gives pleasure. The route you take is the one that tests you. Everywhere your attention turns, it turns toward the version that asks more of you, because the asking is what your Saturn system reads as worth your time. In most arenas, this serves you. It is why you are competent, durable, deep. In love, it costs you, because love was never meant to be only a test. What you have called your bad taste in partners was never bad taste, and it was never self-sabotage. It was the precise functioning of a Saturn-calibrated selection system, doing exactly what it was built to do, seeking the developmental load in the one domain where developmental load is not actually what makes a relationship sustainable. Love needs some ease to survive. Your system was not built to register ease as significant. That mismatch is the whole pattern. Set your attention on your jaw, Capricorn. Feel the hinge where the lower jaw meets the skull, just in front of your ears. Feel where the muscle there is tighter than it should be, where it has been clenched around all the times you chose the harder person and then held your jaw shut through the difficulty, rather than saying the thing that would have ended it. That tightness is the pattern registered in your tissue. Your jaw has been the holding place. The medical name for the muscle is the masseter, the chewer, the strongest muscle in the body for its size. And that is exactly what it has been doing, holding, clenching, grinding through the difficulty you selected, biting down on the words that would have named the pattern before it ran its full course again. This is not difficulty as fate. This is endurance as miscalibration, the developmental strength of a body that seeks training load applied by automatic default to the one domain where training load is not what love needs. The years you spent clenching your jaw through hard relationships you chose were the years your Saturn system was running its developmental selection in the wrong arena. You have been seeking growth through difficulty since before you had any language for it. The language, when it arrives, is simply the jaw admitting what the selection system has been doing in geometry for a long time. The pattern is not a problem. The pattern is a correctly functioning developmental system pointed at the wrong target. What your jaw has been clenching around, your understanding has merely caught up to. So now, knowing this, you can do something you could not do before. You can interrupt the calibration, not by forcing yourself to feel attraction to ease, which does not work, but by recognizing the pull toward difficulty for what it is at the moment it arises. When you meet someone and feel that charged sense of significance, that pull, that this is meaningful sensation, you can pause and ask the diagnostic question: is this significance, or is this just developmental load? Is this person right for me, or is this person merely difficult in the way my Saturn system mistakes for right? The question does not kill the attraction. It puts the attraction under conscious examination so that you are choosing with knowledge rather than being chosen by the calibration. And you can begin to give the easy, good love a second look. The warm, available person who did not activate your developmental circuitry may be exactly the person your life actually needs, not because they offer growth through difficulty, but because they offer the rest that lets all your other Saturn difficulties be survivable. You can learn, slowly, to read ease not as insignificance, but as a different kind of significance. The significance of a place where you do not have to train, where the load is finally light, where love is allowed to be a refuge rather than another developmental trial. Who you are drawn to is set by your Saturn calibration. That part is structural and lifelong. But when the pull toward difficulty runs strongest, and when your system softens enough to finally register the quiet significance of an easy, good love moves in seasons across your life. Knowing which season you are in is the difference between repeating the pattern blindly and choosing against it consciously. That seasonal timing, when the calibration is loudest and when it loosens, is what I track on the Patreon, week by week and decade by decade. The calibration you carry forever. The windows when you can choose against it, I map for your specific chart. You did not pick the wrong people because something was broken in you. You picked them because your Saturn system was doing its developmental job in the one arena where its job does not serve you. From now on, when you feel the pull toward the difficult one, you will recognize the calibration, and you will ask the question, and you will choose with your eyes open. The pull was always going to be toward difficulty. You were simply the one who had been mistaking the difficulty for love. Now you know the difference, and from this point forward, the choice is actually yours. Master Alistair. Only Capricorn. Only depth.